Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Strategy Rewind podcast. As you know, this podcast is heard in over 50 countries. It's been downloaded a total of over 1,000 times, and I want to say thank you. Now, if you're listening for the first time, this podcast focuses on the mindset and strategies needed for a breakthrough moment. So welcome to the club, welcome to the tribe, welcome to the family of people that want to have a breakthrough moment. Now, if you've already heard this podcast before, I want to encourage you to please subscribe, rate, review, share it on social media, tell a friend to tell a friend, let someone know. And if you find this episode to be insightful, please let somebody know, because today we're talking about overthinking. And the truth is, many of us struggle with overthinking. Listen, I'll break the fourth wall. I as well, yes, your old pal Miguel Lebron has struggled with overthinking. In fact, I've written an article on this. If you are part of my newsletter, you've already received that in your inbox. As Monday morning, I sent out the information and I share with you all what I'm doing in my journey of personal growth. So if you have not yet subscribed, I want to encourage you to go ahead and use the detail in the show note links. There it'll take you so you can subscribe to my newsletter, where I outline exactly what I've done recently to attack this overthinking. Now, I'm going to share with you some of the things I've done, and I think it's going to be super helpful, because the truth is we all deal with overthinking. And overthinking, let's just be honest here, overthinking, it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what process you are in, we are all going to, at one point or another, find ourselves in this position of overthinking. Now, there are two positions of overthinking. You may find yourself overthinking, and because of this, you psych yourself out and you don't even take the shot. You don't even set goals because you don't want to be, quote unquote, disappointed. You don't want to be let down, right? You psych yourself out. How am I going to build this, do this, go here, go there? And you begin to think about all of the intricate parts. And what happens is that you psych yourself out, you overthink it, and you overcomplicate it. And before you're even started, you're already telling yourself it's not going to work, and you've got 57,000 billion trillion different reasons of why it won't work. So we have that part, right? We have that group of people, and you may be in that group where you're overthinking, and because you're overthinking, you're not taking action. You're not even moving towards the goals that you would even desire to accomplish, right? You're not moving towards the person you want to be. You're so busy overthinking, and all of your energy is going into overthinking, that you're not even attempting a move, because already in your mind, it will not work. And so you have that group of people. And again, you may be part of that group. But I think you also have a different group of people that we need to acknowledge, which is the group of people that overthink in the midst of the process. Let me kind of break this down a little bit here, where you may be right now attempting to accomplish your goal. You may be moving towards that goal. You have a specific, a measurable, you have it to be something that you know exactly what you want to do, when you want to do it. You have a timeline. You have all these things that you know the system exactly of how you're going to get there. And yet, maybe today just wasn't your best day. Maybe yesterday wasn't the best day. Maybe you haven't been seeing the pounds shed the way you want to see them. Maybe you haven't been seeing the change in your grade or your pay rate. Maybe you haven't been seeing the doors open the way you want to see them open. And so now you begin to overthink it. Am I in the right place? Am I doing the right thing? Am I messing up? Am I just going to stay in this hamster wheel? What's going on? I thought I was moving forward, and now I'm not moving forward. So I think you have these two camps, the people that overthink, and because they overthink, they don't even take the shot. And then you have the people that take the shot, but it seems like nothing is moving ahead or advancing in the way you wanted to. So now you begin to overthink. And you begin to think, this will not work, this won't happen, this won't come out the way I wanted to, because, well, right now it ain't moving in the way I want it to work. Another word for overthinking is rumination. And rumination is simply dwelling on negative thoughts and setbacks. And the interesting thing about a setback is that you and I are the ones who determine what a setback is. You and I are the ones who get to determine what our goal is, We get to identify the strategies, the plan. We get to identify if it's measurable, if it's realistic. We get to identify all these things, and you and I get to identify what is a setback. And so maybe you may not actually be in a setback, but you feel as though you're in a setback. And oftentimes it's a little muddy in the middle, right? In that process, in that journey, you may feel like, I'm doing everything I got to do. How come it's not moving ahead? The question here today is, how do we stop overthinking? How do we actually move forward? Now, regardless if you are of the group of people that are overthinking and because of this, you're not taking your shot, or if you're from the camp of people that are in the middle of the process and overthinking if you're doing it right or doing it wrong, I think these 4 strategies will apply nevertheless. I think these 4 strategies are going to be beneficial for either camp. So, number 1, you want to acknowledge negative thinking. If you are overthinking and because of this, you're not taking the shot, you want to acknowledge the fact that, you know what, I'm overthinking this. I have no data to base this on. I am just jumping to conclusion when I haven't even allowed the story to develop. You want to come to the point of acknowledging that you are engaging in negative thinking. And if you're in the process right now and you're thinking, maybe I'm doing this wrong, stop negative thinking. Acknowledge it. Like, just come to the realization that, you know what, I'm not being fair with myself. I'm not being polite to me. I need to change the way I'm talking to myself. I need to change the way I'm thinking about the things I'm doing. So if you're engaging in overthinking, the first thing you have to do is acknowledge it. Be honest with yourself and understand that you are engaging in negative thinking. This is the starting point, because number 2, having already acknowledged your negative thinking, having acknowledged that you're engaging in this, you can now switch into problem-solving mode. Right? You can flip the switch, right? You realize, okay, I'm engaging in negative thinking. I'm jumping to conclusions without allowing the story to develop. I'm not taking the shot. I'm not putting myself in the right place. Or maybe, yeah, I'm doing everything okay, but I'm being too hard on myself. Let me take a step back and let me switch into problem-solving mode. In order to do this, you also have to go ahead and have a goal-setting session. You want to go ahead and sit down with the goals you've done. Keep in mind, the majority of individuals, when it comes to setting their New Year's resolutions, by the middle of March, before March even rolls around, they're done with their goals. And you ask yourself, why is it that so many individuals start off so strong in the new year with all of their resolutions, with all of the things they're going to accomplish, and then somewhere along the line, they don't do it? I mean, according to statistics, 64% of people abandon their New Year's resolution after the first month. Why do you think this is? I think a lot of it comes down to overthinking. It comes down to overthinking. If this describes you, don't despair. All you need is a success buddy to help you strategize. And this is why part number 1, strategy number 1, is to acknowledge the fact that you're engaging in negative thinking. Number 2, switch into problem-solving mode and have a strategy session. Now, maybe you're saying, Miguel, okay, fine, I'll go into problem-solving mode, but I don't really know how to get into that. This is where you have to then align with a success buddy. And I am going to encourage you to click on the link in the show notes right now and set up a free 30-minute strategy session. This is what you need in order to stop overthinking. There's no reason for you to continue to overthink if you're going to make it, if you're not going to make it, if you're right, if you're wrong, if you're going. There's no reason to stay in that. So, would you be interested in a success buddy that could assist you in achieving your goals? I think the answer is yes. So let me be very clear. I specialize in working with people to establish habits that create results in their mental and spiritual health, in their marriage, career, and overall growth. And I believe you want to grow. So number 1, acknowledge the fact that you're engaging with this negative talk. Number two, switch into problem solving mode. Begin to see all of these things that are considered a setback and ask yourself, is there something here that I could modify? Is there something here that I can address, that I can adjust? And if so, let's get to addressing it. Number three, celebrate small victories. Now, listen to me. If you're in the camp of people that you're overthinking so much that you're not even taking the shot, you may be asking yourself, well, how do I celebrate small victories? I'm not even taking the shot. Yeah, what you're going to want to do is go into your memory bank, and you're going to want to think about all of those times that you did take the shot, despite all of the overthinking, despite all of the things that you thought were going to be reasons why you were going to fail. You want to go into your memory bank. If you wrote them on a journal, if you posted on Facebook, on Instagram, when you accomplished your raise, when you bought the new car, when you finally went on the date, when you skydived, or whatever it is that you were aiming to, despite all the overthinking, you want to go back and revisit that victory, celebrate that victory. Celebrate that victory, because this celebration is going to actually awaken something in you that you're going to say, you know what? It's possible. I can actually do this. Now, if you're in the process, if you're moving and you're saying, hey, I'm in the process, but I'm overthinking it, you want to celebrate your victories thus far. Keep in mind, you are farther from the person you once were, and you are closer to the person you want to be. Right? You are much closer to the version of you have been thinking about than what you realize. So take a moment, celebrate the small victories, right? Acknowledge, yeah, you know what? I've been dealing with overthinking. I've been dealing with ruminating and considering these things setbacks when maybe they just weren't setbacks. It was just a hiccup on the road. I was driving down a road here in the city of Rochester. And on this particular road, I said to my daughter, this is a bad road. And she asked me, why is it a bad road? I said, because there's so many potholes. This is just a bad road. And she said, it's not a bad road. It's a bumpy road. I need you to catch this. So many times we are on a bumpy road in the journey of becoming the version we want to be of ourselves, that we just say, this is bad. This is horrible. And we throw the baby in the handbasket. I mean, we throw it all out. We just say, forget about it. If this is you, stop and celebrate your small victories, because this is going to begin to awaken in you the actual hope that, you know what, I did it before, man. I could do some stuff again. And number four, we are covering the 4 strategies you can do to stop overthinking. We said number 1 was to acknowledge the negative talk, right? Acknowledge the negative thinking. Number 2, switch into problem-solving mode and have a goal-setting session. You want to do this once you realize, oh, I'm engaging into something that isn't beneficial. Switch quick. Flip the switch and start getting into problem-solving mode. Start engaging in a goal-setting session and start reanalyzing, what are the things I'm doing? What's my morning routine? What's my night routine? What am I doing in the midday? How am I engaging with my goals? And what can I do to readjust? It's just readjusting. It's a matter of readjusting. Number 3, you want to go ahead and celebrate these small victories. And number 4, visualize your success. Because here's what happens is that after you've acknowledged that you are engaging in negative thinking, and after you've moved into this problem-solving mode, and in the process of switching into this problem-solving mode and having a strategy session, what happens is that you begin to celebrate your victories. You cannot deny the fact that you've been seeing some success, or that you've seen success before. And what happens is that once you have awakened that side of you that, man, I've done some pretty cool things before. I've accomplished some great things. Now you begin to visualize. You use that momentum. You use the momentum of your celebration to visualize. You use the momentum of the small victories. You use the momentum of your celebration to visualize. And you begin to visualize yourself accomplishing the goals that you have established for yourself. You do not need to be part of the crowd, part of the group of people that do not accomplish their goals. That's not the version of you want to be. The version of you want to be is someone who is consistently growing, who is thriving, who is achieving, who is impacting, who is influencing. And that version of you does not surrender, does not quit. And you may engage in overthinking. You may find yourself ruminating and thinking about what may or may not be working or may not take place. You may find yourself engaging in thinking of all of these setbacks. It's time for you to visualize yourself in the success that you want to have. Now, maybe after hearing this, you're pumped up and you're ready to go. And, you're ready to just attack, right? You realize you are closer to the person you wish to be than to who you once were. Maybe you're ready, but there's something in you that you're saying, I'm going to need some help with this problem solving. I'm going to need some help with this switching into a goal setting session. Use the link in the show notes. I want you to know you are not alone. Now, the link in the show notes is going to allow you to set up a free 30-minute strategy session. It's no commitment. It's a free 30-minute strategy session. After all, my friend, I want you to be successful. I want you to achieve your goals. I want it to be that at the end of this year, that when you look back, you can say, I did that. So many people are leaving and abandoning their goals. So many people. I heard this powerful quote which said, hell is a place where you do not fulfill the dreams and goals you had for yourself. Right? Hell is a place where you don't fulfill your potential. That should scare the mess out of you. And many people, and some of you, are living in hell because you're not even living up to your potential. Why are you choosing to settle? And I'll be honest with you, my friend, I've engaged in overthinking before. I've engaged in rumination where I think, am I in the right place? Am I doing it the right way? But then I turn around and I acknowledge that I'm doing that. And I say, okay, instead of poking holes into what's happening here, let me begin to look for solutions. Let me go into a goal setting session. Let me just review my goals. And what I have found is that when I do that, I realign myself with my values. And I'm able to continue forward.